Other than the church itself, the Trappist is the most spiritually significant building in the monastery. Especially in the monastic context, it's really considered a second church.
And you see it most clearly when we have the Divine Liturgy, and then at the end of the liturgy, we have a procession, and we all go over to the Trapeza, and then have our meal, like on Sundays and feast days. It's very, very clear what the intention is. The meal in the Trapeza after the Divine Liturgy is an extension of the Divine Liturgy.
Our current Trapeza was, I believe, the second building that existed on the property. When the property was given to us by Mo and Nadia Sill, there was a small log cabin that they used as the chapel. And then the Trapeza is really just a double-wide trailer that we brought on right after the monastery moved here from St. Louis.
This trailer had to be brought up one half at a time up our road, and there was a bulldozer that had to pull up each half. And a guy had to sit on top of it with a chainsaw and cut tree branches away so it could fit through this corridor of trees.
Unfortunately, the current Trapeza is in very bad shape.
It really is something of a miracle that the building is still standing. I often kind of imagine that whenever we're finally in the new Trapeza, that the angel that's kind of holding it up will finally be relieved of duty and it'll just kind of collapse into the ground finally.
Over the 25 or so years that it's been there, obviously a double-wide trailer isn't exactly designed to hold a bunch of industrial kitchen equipment to feed, getting close to 60, 70 people on a regular basis. So the conditions have degraded significantly.
The refrigerator in the Trapeza has gone out multiple times. Currently the dishwasher is broken. The floor in the kitchen is about to cave in underneath the sink, which obviously gets a lot of exposure to water. There have been all kinds of emergency repairs that we've had to do to kind of keep it on its last leg. And there was one time, not just within the last year, where one of the novices was cleaning up after the meal right in front of the window that goes into the kitchen, and they just fell straight into the floor.
We've really pushed it as absolutely as far as it can go. And we consider hospitality to be an essential part of our monastic life. St. Benedict says, let every guest be received as Christ. So you wouldn't turn a guest away without offering them something to eat. So we have to invite them. We want to invite them to share food with us and to eat with us. And it's becoming almost impossible to do that because of space.
On the practical level, we are very much in need of a new space, but more importantly, for our mission of bringing the light of orthodoxy to people who are hungering for that, who want to come here and participate in the life of the church lived out on a daily basis in a very rich and full way. It's really very important that we have a space to be able to give them the fullness of that experience. We've designed the new Trapeza to be able to fit not only the current brotherhood, but also an expanded brotherhood, if that's God's will for the future. Also, the space will be able to accommodate many more pilgrims and guests on a regular basis. In addition, there's a beautiful covered porch outside that for very big feast days will be able to increase the capacity even further. And so we've really tried to think about not only our current needs, not only our future needs from the perspective of the brotherhood, but also the guests. And I think also, more importantly, the fact that it's located immediately below the main church, it really helps us to bring out the liturgical nature of the space, to be able to have a Trapeza that's very evidently the same as the church above, both in terms of the architecture, iconography. The nature of the space is designed to not only house and feed an expanded number of brothers and pilgrims, but to much more powerfully, I think, lead them to to the remembrance of God, to the realization that this is a sacred space, to lead our hearts and our minds toward heaven as we gather there in a way that a double wide trailer just really doesn't have the capacity to do.
Having these facilities allows us to serve anyone that comes here.
I never expected for the monastery to be so visible. As it turns out, there are people from all over the world that know about us.
Our founders have always felt very, very strongly about our identity as really a pan-Orthodox monastery, and not just a pan-Orthodox monastery, but a monastery that welcomes everybody, whether they're Americans, Russians, Greeks, Germans, whoever, that this needs to be a place that welcomes everybody, that feels like a spiritual home for everybody. And I think by God's grace, it has become that for many people.
Help us make room for everyone at the table.